What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to PlayStation Generation episode 44. That was a lot of words coming out of my mouth, and it sounded all like marbles. My name is Matt, and I'll be your host for today's events. I'm joined, as always, by the man who bleeds gold and black himself, Mr. Cortland. What's up, Court?
I'm coughing. It's black and gold.
Gold, black.
Black
Doesn't
and
matter.
gold.
Really?
It matters, yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Okay, the more you know.
I don't know why it does, but they're called the black and gold, so I would assume it matters.
Okay.
Also, you want interesting, if you notice my camera going up and down, it
Nope.
does this, and I don't know why it's doing it. It's like auto-focusing, and I can't make it stop, and it's driving me insane. I don't know where in the settings. I've gone into all the camera settings. This is not turned on.
You're totally fine on my end. Like, you look stable entirely on Streamlabs. No, dude, it's not happening.
Okay, that's just me.
Yeah, you look. Are you sure you're not just?
I don't know anymore, man. I told you my body hurts, man.
Your
I'm old.
body hurts. It's all good.
Body break.
That is a reference I understand.
Hey,
that's one I got.
that's an old one
Body
too.
break. I know. I got
You were
that
like
one.
5.
Yeah, I was like 5. Okay, Christopher Walken.
5.
That was like 5. On this week's show, we're going to talk about
Things.
GTA 6. We're going to talk about Tony Hawk. We're going to talk about Marvel Rivals and a whole lot more. So strap in and prepare thyself for the adventure of a lifetime. But before we do all that, Court, what you been playing?
I have been playing Control.
Oh,
yes. So I realized I was like,
did you already? You played it before
on Xbox.
Okay.
No trophies.
No trophies.
So I was. It was interesting. I was going through like games that I hadn't played, and I started going through my backlog and in the purchase section of my PlayStation, and I'm like, Control. I'm like, man, such a good game. I'm like, oh man, I wish I could just replay that again. And then I looked and I was like, oh my God, I played this on Xbox. I'm like, got so excited. I was like, oh Jesus, I downloaded it. I'm 10 hours in. I've been playing Control, which is fine. I made it a little, cheesed it a little bit, and one shot killed the darn thing just so I could rip through it. But still, and I downloaded Lost Legacy as well to be my next game to play, because
just doing a bunch of quick little ones, eh?
Yeah,
I mean, Control's not that little, but it's a good
fantastic,
length.
and it's one of my favorite Uncharted's, and I hadn't played it, the remastered. Well, we got the review. I did Uncharted 4, and I didn't play Lost Legacy. So I'm like, all right, new trophies. I was like, I will go get trophies. I will go do that. I'll get the dopamine hit.
Yeah.
I won't have to turn my brain on.
You'll feel better.
I can jump in and out, and it's a nice palate cleanser before Assassin's Creed Shadows and MLB The Show.
Both right around. Do they come out like within days of each other?
So AC Shadows is what, March 20th, and MLB watch if it's the same day.
Jesus,
that would be terrible. MLB The Show comes out on March 14th. It's a week apart.
Okay, that's a good amount of time, I feel.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like I'm doing the review for Console Creatures for MLB The Show. That is, I can do a review of that game and playing it for 5 hours just because I'm just like, this is what's different.
Yeah, well, it's like part of your DNA at this point.
Yeah, like I don't have to be like, oh, like I'm like, oh, the graphics look better, which they will. I heard the stadiums look phenomenal, and I'm like, okay, well, this is the difference in Diamond Dynasty. This is the difference on Road to the Show. All right, here's the new pitch mechanics they put into the game. Should you go buy it because you can't get it free on Game Pass anymore? Suck it. I don't know. From what I understand from everything that I've been watching of this game, they've done a couple dev diaries for it, which I'll say this. Game studios should learn from like sports game releases. You love, Persona.
Good one.
Wouldn't you love that if they just hopped on Twitch and YouTube simulclass and they just were like, we're going to do an hour deep dive into this feature?
Nope.
Really, eh?
Nope. I would.
Because I would. Involved. I guess that's
I wouldn't mind like a behind the scenes thing.
No, it's the same thing.
Yeah, like a making of. I would enjoy like a making of, but I wouldn't want to know more about anything that I have to. Like,
you're not learning. So what they do is they'll be like, okay, here's the mechanic that they've changed, and they prepare you to not be like, oh my God, why is this so different? And 2, here's how you use it in game and why they did it.
But I feel like with sports games, you can get technical about it, and it doesn't hamper you coming into the game. You know what I mean? If they went in, I was like, I want to figure out the mechanics myself. I want to figure out how it works, what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like I enjoyed that part of the experience when it comes to RPGs. I think sports games is exactly right. Like I would like that's perfect way to communicate to the people who are
I
buying
think
the
they could
game.
do it with live service games as well.
Yes, that could 100% work.
It's interesting because they've done 2 so far, and I love it.
Mm,
And I just watched them and I'm like, "Okay." And so, like, I already know kind of my next one is gonna be Diamond Dynasty, which is that thing I always talk about and I never shut up about.
mhm, 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 mhm.
That'll be their next video. And after that, I joked in my head, I was like, "I could technically write the review before playing the game." I could have it, like, almost already done and then be like, "Okay, I played it for an hour, I'm good."
Remember when you said you weren't going to be playing MLB The Show
No,
this year?
I said I wasn't going to be I said what I would do is review the game and then put it down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm gonna try.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try that.
I believe you.
I'm gonna try.
I really sincerely
I'm
believe
gonna
you.
try, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Last year I only put just over 100 hours. That's low.
I know that's low for you. And I could have sworn that it was much less than that, but I guess you really popped off.
Yeah. I hopped back in and I was like, "Oh, check this
Yeah, it'll
out."
get you. It'll get you. Also, hold on. You complain about an RPG that's like 60 hours in length, but 100 hours in MLB The Show.
No, I complained about Assassin's Creed story being 90 hours in length just to do the story, not including the side missions, and
That's true.
then the ending to be like,
Mm. Well, let's hope Shadow Sticks the landing. We'll be talking more about that very, very soon. As for myself, I played and I beat and I reviewed Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. That review's over on But Why
"Arr."
Though? I
You didn't
loved it.
I thought it was okay
No,
by your
I
score.
loved it. No, I gave it a 9.
Oh, okay. I saw some people
Yeah.
give it 7s and stuff, so I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, it's all over the map. Like
Hey, mind you, people gave Avowed a 9, so,
yeah, it's at like an 80 on OpenCritic. It's not like the most technical game, but like I love that world. I love those characters. It's ridiculous. It takes one of the best characters and turns them into a pirate with amnesia, and then like just the fallout of all of that. The
yeah,
combat
that
is
sounds
ridiculously
actually
fun.
fun.
Yeah,
Not for me, but, like, for
mm,
you.
the combat is stupid
For you.
fun. The sailing, like when we played Sea of Thieves, like the realness of the sailing got to me at points. This one, you literally have like lasers as your cannons. You have like your ship has like NOS that can like
So it's
fire
Saints
rocket
Row?
boosters. That's not an entirely inaccurate comparison.
Okay.
So they just get ridiculous with it, and they do a bunch of cool stuff where like they follow up on a bunch of characters from last year's Infinite Wealth. Like the villain from Dindoko Island, which was like the Animal Crossing mode, comes back and actually joins your crew, and you like pick up with him a year or 6 months later after everything happened in the initial game. So they just do a lot of cool stuff that like this almost feels like the epilogue to last year's Infinite Wealth, just starring Majima and now Pirates. It's a ton of fun. I loved it. I feel like people's criticisms towards it are valid. The sailing isn't that like in depth, but I like the arcadey nature of it. I don't like sailing sims as much. So for me, it was the perfect like literally you could like mow through 3 ships in like 10 seconds if you know what you're doing. So it's just like
You
that.
like Black Flag, but you're like, "No to Skull and Bones."
I
You
don't.
see what
I
I'm
didn't.
saying?
I couldn't get into Black Flag. It
Oh my
was too
god.
slow. It was too slow. This is literally like
The guy who
pirate
likes
ships on.
Persona and says you gotta play it for 40 hours before it gets good, it's too slow in Black Flag.
Yeah, because Persona, at least there's stuff happening, and it's
No,
just
there's no
you're just like do
yeah,
do
it's
do do
nothing.
do do. Oh, I have to turn really slowly. Oh, I turned too quick. My cannon's missed. Oh, I better turn around, and this is gonna take me another 7 minutes to complete this turn. No, this is like you can drift
You're
when you
exaggerating as
in
much
your
as my
pirate ship.
daughter does right now.
Yeah, I know. Get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I loved it. I had a blast with it. I'm gonna have a bunch of stuff hitting this console creatures tomorrow, so please be excited. Make sure you check out the site, and I'll talk more about
He's
that
talking to everybody
next
else.
week.
I know I'm not. I know what he was playing, so I'm not excited, but everybody else
No,
should be.
yeah, you should also be excited, but
No,
not
and
but not
we
really.
both know where that's not true.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll retweet it for you,
Yeah, you're gonna retweet it for me. I know
and
you
I'll
will.
open it up.
Yeah, I know.
The
You'll
odds
read
of
it.
me
You'll read the
reading it
first
are slim.
paragraph. You'll read the
Yeah.
first paragraph.
Sure, I'll read if one day Matt's gonna put in the review and just put my name in the first paragraph for funsies. Bobby will be like, "Why?" And you'll be like, "There's a reason."
Yeah, it's a test. It's a test. Yeah. Prior he's in Hawaii was awesome. Let's keep this train rolling. We have a bunch of news we're gonna roll through.
Oh, now we're on a train?
Yep. Choo choo. We could be on a ship. We can be on a pirate ship.
Yeah, we should be on a pirate ship
We can be
today.
on a pirate ship. Fire up your boosters and prepare your laser cannons because we are on this
So it's like,
pirate ship.
Blood Dragon, Far Cry. It's like a mix between Blood Dragon, Far Cry, your Yakuza games, and Saints Row.
Yeah, it's not an inaccurate
Yeah.
description.
It doesn't take itself seriously, and it's
Not at all.
perfect.
Not at, exactly. Exactly. Our first story coming from VGC, written by Andy Robinson.
I
GTA 6
have words for
Rockstar is
this.
reportedly planning Roblox slash Fortnite style user generated content. Rockstar has already met with top creators regarding GTA 6. It's claimed. This is written by Andy Robinson. I don't know if I said that or not, but I'm going to say it again. That's according to a new report from Digiday, which cites 3 industry insiders with knowledge of the meetings. It's claimed that Rockstar is planning to allow creators to modify GTA 6's game environments and assets to bring their own intellectual property into its sandbox. Creators and other user-generated game platforms, such as Fortnite and Roblox, can generate revenue by receiving a portion of their virtual item sales. Notably, in 2023, Rockstar acquired CFX.re, the group behind some of GTA 5 and RDR2's most popular modding tools. The conversations with content creators have apparently been relatively open-ended. This is interesting because when I was thinking about like what does GTA 6 do to stay relevant to the kids? To like,
To
not
get out do you Matt,
I don't mean
can
kids
we
like
back
Emma's
up?
age. I don't
Oh,
mean
okay.
I mean like
Thank
the
you.
13 and 14-year-olds.
Nope, I need you to back up again. The game is 18 plus. Let's just be
Doesn't
let's
matter. Doesn't matter. 14-year-olds will be all over GTA 6. No
ugh,
doubt in my mind.
this
I wasn't like grade.
I get it, but they shouldn't be.
I don't disagree, but they
Oh,
will be. But I mean, like even like the younger generations who have only ever known GTA 5, and that's if they ever played it, right? We know GTA Online is going to exist in some capacity. I'm sure it's going to be huge. GTA 6 story mode is for people like us, and as it bleeds over into whatever. But like, how do they keep people going for the folks that GTA Online isn't for them? This makes like too much sense.
now, I thought reading that article that it would be for both GTA Online and this. Like, you'd be able to obviously, it's for PC, but because I
No, I think it would be on console as
no,
well,
I think
dude.
you'd be able to have to do the modding on PC, but you'd be able to pull it up on console.
No, but it's like Halo back in the day, right? Like you could like make your own multiplayer maps and things. Like I remember my cousin made like this like Hot Wheel style racing thing in Halo and everything. We made like a modified zombie
Yeah,
mode.
no, I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think what it would do, and this is just spitballing because my daughter plays a poop ton of Roblox.
Mm,
So at first I thought it was like, oh my god, this is just like you're literally pulling a Mr. Beast here, and you're like, hey, look, I'm gonna make money off kids,
mhm.
um, with things that are very inappropriate for them sometimes. But I think it's so they can do like missions, like they can create missions, but like in GTA 6, they could do like anything. Like whatever your heart's desire, you can make it. But like
I
you could make
mm,
like a stupid I just don't know how you if you're gonna be putting it into GTA 6 and not GTA Online, I just see so many copyright things that are just like
I think it's going to be kind of like its own entity almost. Like GTA
so you have
6
GTA Online, you got
GTA
GTA
6
6 mod,
Yeah, you have GTA Play or whatever they're gonna call it. You're gonna have
build.
yeah, and like and it'll be a mode on your screen in GTA 6. You load up single player, GTA Online or whatever. Like you'll be able to kind of jump into it. But then like I'm single player content is interesting because the way that I read this is like Fortnite's create stuff where it's just like you can just make entirely random modes. Like people made prop hunt in Fortnite. They do a lot of just
Yeah,
like
you could
they
probably make Fortnite mode in GTA.
that's what I'm saying. So, like, I'm curious to what extent this will be implemented because single player missions would be interesting for that's much more speaking my language. If I could go play like like a bank heist designed by you, court, for example, like you know what I mean, like just
I'm
something
thinking
like
like,
that.
remember what Little Big Planet used to do back in the day? You'd have like Siphon Filter levels and you'd have Metal Gear Solid
Yes.
levels.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
thinking you could do the same here. I'm just copyrights is just gonna be hilarity in itself, but,
I mean, they
I'm
figured it out with
thinking
dreams,
I
kind
think
of.
that's what this is gonna be.
Because yeah, this to me reads more multiplayer than single player.
Yeah, no, I get that, but, like, it could be single player, like, if
Could
you're
be.
saying there's this custom world, you could go in and be like, "Oh, so and so built this, like, whole heist where you're redoing Ocean's 11, and I think it's the coolest thing ever, and I wanna do it." And, like, they redo it in the game. That's
Yeah.
what I think it's gonna be.
Hopefully, it's both. Like, hopefully, it's one of those things that's like you can make it single player or multiplayer, and that way they can literally have their cake and eat it too. Just because, like, GTA 6 will sell crazy numbers no matter what. But I feel like it's speaking to people like our generations and up. Like, a lot of, I don't, I mean, GTA Online was obviously
Because people
massive.
are gonna recreate cities. You're gonna be like, "Okay, here's Toronto. Go play GTA Toronto."
Yeah, right. And it's like to what extent are people going to be able to mess with this? To what extent are going to be able? Are people
Well,
going to
I'll
be able
I'll
to?
give you an example. In MLB The Show, there's Stadium Creator, and
Mhm.
dude, it's crazy.
Is
Like,
it?
oh, it's unreal.
Hmm.
Like, you can get really to the nitty-gritty doing it.
All of those nitty gritties. Yeah, I think this feels like a slam dunk in their
Well, this makes a
pockets.
game never die.
And they already had a game that never died.
Well, no, it's yeah, they'll just have GTA Online 2
That's part of the question, right? Like, do they have two
or GTA
online
Online, here's
games?
the new map.
Yeah, maybe they Fortnite it and destroy the old map and introduce a new map
Dude,
or whatever.
think how good they could do if they don't get rid of GTA Online. Well, but don't they have to change the engine?
It depends on what engine they're on.
Because they could just, like, literally drop an atom bomb in the game while everybody's in there, and think how much content you could get around that where people get like, they walk into GTA Online, and there's just, like, this clock there in the middle of the thing, and they're like, "What the fuck is this for?"
If
And then
there's
all of a sudden, it's like an atom bomb drops, blows everything up, and then the next day, it's the new map.
It'd be dope if they were like, yeah, it's dropping in an hour. You have an hour to get out of the city
But your
because people
graphics
have.
would change, though, is what I'm trying to say.
I know, but like, imagine it's like you have an hour to get out of the city, like because they obviously like they have cars, they have money, they have different like items and stuff. So you're only able to collect what you can in that hour to get out of the city, and
We
then.
both know they're gonna destroy everybody's stuff.
But that's what I mean. You can only take a certain thing, and then you go into the next game with like the one or two things that you
That
bring
doesn't
with you.
sound like Rockstar.
No, but it'd be cool. Yeah, I don't know. This like I'm curious to see how this will be implemented, and if
That'd be
this.
like, the people that make the Pokemon games would be like, "Yeah, yeah, every Pokemon you collect in every game, you can keep collecting them."
Yeah, you just have to trade them across 3 different realms of reality to get them into the next thing that you need to get it to.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
I
curious. I'm
know
curious.
it's very I think I'll say this, it's a license to print money.
It is.
Yeah.
Easily.
It'll
Easily.
work, it'll be very good, and they're very smart to do it.
Mhm.
It's kinda what, if you look at, Ubisoft, what they said, they wanted to do Assassin's Creed Infinity, so it was just this thing that would always be there.
Mhm.
This is actually GTA Infinity.
Well, that's exactly what it is, right? Like, if they're smart, they build off of, like, like, exactly, Fortnite or
Like we said
Roblox.
for Astrobot, make Astrobot Maker. Like, what are you thinking? Let us do this. You can make this game live on forever.
Mhm.
Because those new levels are way too freaking hard, and I hate them.
I keep forgetting to play them. I haven't had a chance to
Dude,
play them
they're
yet.
way too hard.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited about that.
Way too hard.
Let's roll on to the next story. We're gonna jump into apparently PlayStation's still killing it. Coming from Chris Scully, and last week's PS5
Dude,
State
they're
of Play had the most
destroying. I saw that. They're
concurrent
just
viewers ever. It's claimed more than 2 million players were watching Sony's latest presentation at one point. According to Stream Charts, the February 12th presentation had an average of 1.8 million viewers when all streams and co-streams are taken into account. The report says that at its peak, the viewer count hit 2.18 million concurrent viewers, which claims it's the first time a State of Play has ever broken the 2 million mark. While the main feed on the PlayStation channel saw a peak of 656,000 concurrent viewers, the Stream Charts says it's the number of co-streamers also showing the presentation that led to the record-breaking viewership. This is really interesting for me because it's a State of Play at a showcase. You know what I mean? I could see them pulling those numbers, but like, why, Court? Why do you think this
I
happened?
think
Why?
a lot of permanent Xbox people have jumped ship.
Yep.
I truly, truly think this. I watched a video on Game Ranks. I would suggest everybody go check it out. It's very good. They did like a what is going on with Xbox? Like, is it dead? And their conclusion is like, yeah, they're bringing out a new console, but why? Because they have made it plain and plain as day, and their numbers are showing it. Like they stopped talking about their console sales on Xbox because it's
There's no reason to.
disastrous.
Yeah.
It's selling less than the Xbox One.
Which
Matt,
is
it is selling
wild.
less than the Xbox One.
Which is like
It's crazy. That's a
wild.
terrible console.
Wild.
The Xbox Series X is a very good console. I know we're replacing. I'm just
No, but
saying
it is. It is.
it is
It's
a
a,
good
it is. It is
console.
a great console.
So I think Sony is doing very well. Once again, the PlayStation 5 Pro, the sales are good. The thing's selling out. It's still doing well, and I think that you have a lot of people that have been permanently Xbox players for so long that are truly thinking because they still grew up in that generation of console exclusives, and
Mhm.
they feel like they're getting the middle finger being thrown at them, and they're like, "Okay, screw you. I'm selling my Xbox." If you go on
I'm gonna
Facebook Marketplace, there's like a million Xbox Series X's out there, and
mm,
I think they're getting the PlayStation for the first time. And for them, I think it's fantastic. They could get PlayStation Plus and play Spider-Man 2, Ghost of
mm,
Tsushima. Look at all the games. They could just sit there for hours. Last of Us Part 2. They could sit there for hours. Hours and like years it would take them to play all these phenomenal games, all
mhm.
the infamous games. They're all there. So they can play all these games for the first time, and they're like, this showcase comes out, and their hype train is here.
It's interesting because I think it's also I really do think that despite the missteps that we've talked about in the last 6 months with Concord and, we're there or they were back and they were there or we're back, the 30th anniversary line was a stroke of genius at the perfect time. Because I do feel like a lot of people who were, wish-washy on Xbox, a lot of people who grew up on PlayStation and switched to 360 or whatever, that gray line, and I'm not even just talking about the pros, I'm talking about just the standard consoles. Everything sold out like immediately and continued to sell out every time it popped up. People who may have been on the fence on buying a PlayStation may have jumped on that, the 30th anniversary Slim or whatever else. Like it's a massive time. It's just interesting for me that like this is a state of play. You and I always talk about how state of play is like always temporary
Nothing
expectations.
burgers.
Yeah, you're not going in anticipating a hit, right? There'll be some games. There will probably be at least a game for everyone over the course
Always
of the
is.
runtime. Always is, but like a showcase is where you kind of expect the big numbers, and for a state of play to be breaking its own records, 5 years into the console life cycle, clearly the timing of all of this has lined up
They're on an up.
well for
They're
PlayStation.
they're doing this right now.
They're on an upswing.
What and I truly, this is what I think. Nintendo is in its own category.
Hmm.
There's no point. They are a console making company. That's what they
Hmm.
are.
They're a toy company.
Yeah,
They've
but
always
they're
been a toy
still
company.
their brand is making the console and making the
Hmm.
games. Xbox is and I'm stealing this from Game Ranks. Xbox, their company's name is Microsoft. Software is in the name.
Hmm.
They're a software. They are not a
They're a
console
publisher.
making. Yeah. So what they're going to be doing is become a publisher. Sony has always made Walkmans, made something tangible. So them making consoles and doing a great job, they started trying to lean into, we're going to try something different. And it didn't work out for them. They're now going to come back and do the thing that we all love them for.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
we're going to have Nintendo and we're going to have PlayStation and they're going to have their exclusives.
Hmm.
And we're going to be like, this is fantastic. And Xbox games are going to be able to be played on both of them.
Yep.
And that's just the
100%.
way it's going to be.
Yep. I'm really curious to see if we'll ever see like a viable third option again,
I don't know
because
how
like
you do it.
well, because especially because like the bigger tech giants that you'd anticipate that would stand a shot, your Amazon, your Google, have tried
Heck,
and failed.
Steam had the player base and tried and it failed.
Well, yeah, but the Steam Deck is doing well now. But like
Yeah, but the Steam console was terrible.
100% agreed. I'd be very curious to see Steam try it again now because that was like a decade ago now. Um, I'd be curious to
I just
see.
look at like PlayStation killed Sega.
Yep.
Sony killed Sega. Xbox came in and kind of ate PlayStation's lunch for a bit because of a terrible. If it wasn't for a terrible launch to the PlayStation 3,
Hmm.
I think the Xbox would never have had anything we wouldn't even know about. It wouldn't even exist anymore.
Yep. They shot themselves in the foot. Xbox capitalized on it, and then PlayStation was forced to bounce back.
Xbox had Red Ring of Death, and people were just like, send it away, get a new one because the PlayStation 3 is way too freaking expensive.
Yep. Let's stay on this train because the PS5 Pro sales have fallen behind PS4 Pro in the US, coming from Andy Robinson over at VGC. US PlayStation 5 Pro sales have fallen behind PlayStation 4 Pro sales performance during its first months of sale. That's according to data from market research firm Circana, shared by analyst Matt
Different
Piscatella.
times. Let's be honest.
Mhm.
PS4,
However,
that was like a thing.
yeah, well, it's also noting that a PS5 Pro much more expensive.
Yes.
Um, and Circana's reporting period is 1 week less. PS5 Pro enjoyed a solid start, but uses unit sales in the same ballpark as PS4's Pro PS4 Pro's launch initially. and now it's kind of fallen behind. But I still think this thing is selling
I haven't seen one
better
in the
than
wild in a while.
anticipated.
100%.
You know
I
what I
also
mean?
think they didn't the PS4, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. That was different. That was like PS2 generation. Like you that midnight lineup, like people were getting this bad boy. Like PS4 Pro came out, and it was also a difference. You went from 1080 to 4K. This
The,
is a niche upgrade.
well, especially because they like the PS4 Pro, they could talk to why even the average consumer needed it. The PS5 Pro is a tech enthusiast device. It's
100%.
for
And
people like us. You know,
it does
you're
look better.
it does look better. Things do run better. But like the person that like, you know, has their PS5, and at that point in the PS4's life cycle, it was starting to strain a little bit. A lot of people's consoles were sounded like jet engines about to take
Yep.
off. For me, one of the major reasons that I upgraded was because it made VR better. So there was like tangible reasons of doing so that they could speak to. They could show you why this was more important. The PS5 Pro, while fantastic, doesn't have the same like, you know, sellability that the
No,
PS4 Pro did at the
it's
same
just
time.
for our first person games, we're like, we can now have ray tracing on.
Mhm. Yep.
Like that's I can make it balls out on a for a first person action game, and then for my shooter, I can get 60 4K and I'm okay. But
Mhm.
before it was 30 4K and now it's 60 4K.
Yep. And for me, I've gotten to the point now where like I never really used to care about frames, but now it's just like 60 is just too nice. You know what I mean? I need
120 in
that
Call of
60.
Duty is
Yeah, I can imagine that's
it's a
chef's
thing.
kiss.
It's a thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think this is any like this is concerning by any stretch of the imagination. Like they're still continue to kill it. Obviously,
Also
again, regardless
economically
of
right now, people don't
yes, people don't have the
like
money, dude.
eggs are $10, okay?
Yeah, yeah, and like again, a lot of uncertainty in the future. So
I just
people,
planned my 2 vacations for the year, and I'm happy to say one is to Ottawa and one is to Montreal.
hell yeah, yeah,
And I
travel to
was
Canada,
supposed to go to Florida. It ain't happening.
travel in good old Canada.
Yep.
Let's keep this train rolling to some Tony Hawk because coming once again from VGC, written by Andy Robinson, it looks like Tony Hawk 3 and 4's remasters look likely. A teaser website
Dun, dun,
reveals
dun, 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 dun,
secrets.
dun, dun.
It's only revealed on March 4th. Marketing for the next Tony Hawk game was kicked into gear after the series' official website began counting down to a reveal. TonyHawkTheGame.com on Friday started following teasing the Call of Duty update ending on March 4th. I mean, it's March 4th. It's 3-4, as Bobby pointed out. So a remaster of 3 and 4 on 3-4 is a pretty
Yeah,
synergistic way to.
and I think, I can't remember who it was, because I watched it on another, show, and this was like a while like, I would say 6 months ago, that there was a leak that 3 and 4 were being done. Originally, they
Mhm.
weren't gonna be done, and Xbox stepped in and said, "Yeah, we're gonna do them."
Yeah, especially because like I'm pretty sure the first remaster sold well.
They
You know
want
what I
this
mean?
for the service. Are you kidding me? You put this on Game Pass?
Hmm. I'll
This
be
is
there
the
day one. I'll be there day one. I loved Tony Hawk growing up. That was one of my most formative series when I was a Wii
I
one.
love it. I just was a 1 and 2 guy, right?
Me too. I don't remember 3 and 4 as much. Like I remember 1 and 2 a lot. I remember 3, and then my mind kind
Did
of jumps to American Wasteland.
did you play it when it just came out, what, 2 years ago? I bought it, and I realized I suck at the game. I used to be good, and I'm no
5?
longer
Which
good.
one?
1 and 2 came back out on
Yeah, yeah,
remaster.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
That I got, and I played a bunch of it. Yeah,
I was so bad.
yeah. It was nowhere near as good as I remember being.
I was like I used to be able to get, like, crazy tricks, and I'm like, "I can't even do a special."
Yeah, I know. Same.
I used to be able to do runs, and I'd be like, "Oh, go to here, 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 and just do" I'm like, "I can't do any of that now."
And like despite that, I'll still be there for this one. 3 and 4 again is the one that like I remember them less, so I'd be curious to go back because going back to 1 and 2, I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yes, yes. Like a lot of it kind of came
3 and
back to
4 is
me.
the one with the cops and all that, I think. You
Wasn't that
jump on a
American
cop car.
Wasteland?
I think
Uh,
isn't it? I can't remember.
I can't remember anyway. That's what I mean. So I kind of be curious. When did 4 come out initially?
Wasn't that
Was
the end of the PlayStation 4 life cycle?
No, that was 5. That was hot garbage.
That
4
was
came out in 2002. That was GameCube and PS2 era.
okay, so end of the PS2 life cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, it was right in there. So like I'm very, very curious to go back to these games. I'm stoked. Again, just a brilliant little piece. 3-4. Announced it on 3-4. There's rumors that it's apparently going to be shadow dropped at Xbox's Summer Games Fest conference that like apparently they're going to announce that it's a thing now and then just shadow drop it then. So stay tuned. I guess we'll find out at the PlayStation Part 2
Well, it's an
conference.
easy shadow drop. Like you can, if you're Xbox and you've now leaned in, everything is Game Pass. Everything is an Xbox or whatever they want to call it.
Mhm.
Like at this point, what does it matter? A game like that is the perfect shadow drop because you're not looking for sales, you're looking for people to go onto Game Pass.
Are you also looking for people to play like if you shadow drop it across PlayStation and all of the places, you're looking for people like us who's nostalgia into it without even thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's not a new IP that they have to prove. As soon as somebody like me sees, oh, Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 are back, I can buy that on PlayStation. Bet like it's done, over. Like I purchased it
It's
immediately.
very interesting too. Phil Spencer did another interview, and I don't know if I talked about it last week. How he was saying that they've got to get all the assets in there. That like every time they talk about games now, they're just going to be putting PlayStation in there because he's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they're
yeah,
all coming.
yeah. Might as well prepare thyself. Everything's coming.
No longer like world. It'll just be world premiere coming to
Yep.
PlayStation.
Yeah. Do you think we'll ever get a Game Pass exclusive? Probably not.
What do you mean?
Like any game that they're going to just launch straight into Game Pass
I
and not
think
do
what
like a
it sounded from what I understand, his toning and the way he was talking, it sounds like he will do timed exclusives for Game Pass. So if they
hmm,
do, I use Starfield as an example. If they were planning to have, because I know now it's going to come to PlayStation 5, we all know this. Like
yeah,
there's North,
everything's
what
coming.
was it, Korea? The trophies already they exist. Like this is a real thing.
Yeah,
Um, I would think that they would do like a timed exclusive, like what they're doing with Indiana Jones.
yeah, probably. I can totally see that. Just give it like a couple months and then bring it over to PlayStation, or even like. Well, let me ask you this then: what do you think is going to be the first Xbox first party game that hits PlayStation Plus?
Ooh, well, I think those are easy because the Bethesda games always do it. There's a poop ton in there already.
Sure, yeah, Bethesda is a great call, but I think I could see like a Sea of Thieves. I could see them doing it with
Oh,
like a
that's an
live
easy
service.
one. I
Exactly,
agree. That's a
like
very easy one.
a
I
live service
think
game that people can buy into.
I think when Halo Master Chief Collection drops, and I'm almost like guaranteeing it now with Infinite in it. I think they'll be like Halo Master Chief Collection's coming to PlayStation, and it's got Halo Infinite. Um, I think that thing is going to sell like banana pan. Like it's gonna be crazy.
Here's my question for you: do you think there's a chance that with Halo dropping, because I think you're right, it's going to come.
Yeah,
Obviously,
well,
we
for
know
sure.
we know that's coming. Do you think they might do like a PlayStation Plus like Hell Divers skin in Halo?
I think it would be very cool. I just don't know if skins in Halo actually matter when it's a first person. It
Yeah, you
but
say that, and people buy them in COD.
I 100%. I think it would be yeah, you're not right. You're right. It's so stupid when they do it. Like everybody's like Ninja Turtles. I'm like, I'm not paying $90 for the
To
thing I
not see
can't see.
myself. Yeah.
Um, 100% agree with you that it would be really cool. I just don't know if they're that. I know they're buddies now. I just don't know if they're buddies. You know, like they're hanging out with each
Yeah.
other after hours. I don't know if that's where they're at now. It would be very,
They're work friends, right? They're not real friends.
yeah, like it'd be very smart. I would think I'm very curious more to see what sells more. Gears of War when it drops finally and we get like the remasters of the Gears of Wars or Halo. I'm really curious to see which one sells more because I think in the PlayStation landscape and the way PlayStation is, the Gears of War will outsell Halo.
I don't think so. I think Halo still has like the more.
Unless
I,
if they do Halo 1, if they separate the Halo and then they make it as a collection.
no, I think it'll be the Master Chief Collection. Like you said, Infinite being bundled, I think is an interesting call. I can see that happening, but I still think Halo is the bigger name when
Agree.
compared to
I
Gears of
agree.
War.
I just
I think
Gears of
I
War is
think
so good.
I think Gears of War will probably have a more will have a stronger tail to it. Like it'll sell well initially and it'll continue to sell well, but I think Halo will have that bigger splash and continue to do that after.
And it sounds like from leakers, the fact that Horizon is coming. And not Horizon, the race car game, Forza
Forza.
Horizon. It is Horizon.
Yeah.
is because Playground Games had to learn how to make a PlayStation 5 game because Fable is going to come to PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind. I have no doubt in my mind. Dude, everything's coming. Like Spencer pretty much said it. Like no, there's no red tape
It
no more.
it's this sounds stupid. It's so much better to be a PlayStation gamer right now because we're going to get everything.
Yeah, well, outside
There's
of
no
Nintendo
such thing. We're
exclusives,
just not
but
gonna
like,
get Mario games, but
yeah,
whatever. We all have a Switch. We've all
well,
this
yeah,
is a thing we all
we're
do.
all gonna have a Switch too. Like that's the
My
path we're
daughter
on.
already said, she goes, "Did you hear my daughter today?" She was talking to a bunch of her friends. She goes, "Daddy, I heard there's a new Mario Kart coming." I'm like, that's
Prepare
money.
yourselves. That's money. That's money, and that Switch 2 is gonna cost on top of
It's
that.
going to be like I would say in a year from now, you and I are going to be talking about Xbox games a lot,
I
and not in a
I
bad way. Like they're like we're going to talk to them like we talk about a Ubisoft release or
100%,
a EA
100%.
release or a Platinum Games release. We're going to talk about it the same way.
I don't disagree at all. I think we're 100% going to be. I mean, I feel like once the Halos and the Gears of Wars hit, it's going to just be this is what it is now. This is the new normal. This is like there's not even use
And that's why I'm
spinning about it
confused.
anymore.
I heard a rumor this week that there was going to be a Batman console, PlayStation exclusive. I'm like, why do you have to pay for that now? Like, what does it matter?
And it's like, yeah, like is it even worth the money to
It's
put?
a weird
Because that
rumor.
well here's the question. Not as much if you think about it, because is it worth putting the development into making an Xbox port for like the 20 some odd million people that are there, most of which are probably coming over to PlayStation now anyway?
Well, yeah, it's kind of what Phil Spencer said. He was like, we would be stupid not to put our games on the biggest selling console. We're
So
here to sell video
that's
games.
what I mean. I almost feel like it's not even like a exclusive
Did you see
because
the numbers? It's like 10-1, dude.
yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't think it's like an exclusive. If it is true, I don't think it's an exclusive because PlayStation paid to keep it off Xbox. I just think they maybe look at it and say, is it even worth bringing it to Xbox?
Fair.
You know what I mean? We'll find out.
And I'm wondering if we get better games because a lot of developers are making games to play on PlayStation and Xbox, but when they make it to play on Xbox, they got to make it to play on Xbox Series S.
Mm.
I'm wondering if we get better games if they're like, we're just making it for PlayStation.
I will be curious to see how many games from third party will like if it happens, like we'll just
We're
start leaving
seeing it
off the
more and
Series
more.
S.
Like, look at Black Myth Wukong. Like, some of these publishers are like, you know what? Forget it. I don't care.
Mm.
And then they'll make it later and be like, that's fine. We'll just make it later.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep this
I
train
went on a
rolling.
tangent there. I apologize.
No. Well, I mean, it was a good chat. We're gonna do a bit of a 1-2 punch here. So I'm gonna pull two stories in and then we'll break it down after. But coming from Jordan Midler from VGC, Marvel Rivals has passed 40 million players as NetEase reports net revenue of $2.9 billion.
That's a lot of money. It's
That's a
almost like you probably
lot of
give a
money.
lot of people bonuses and not fire them.
Yep. Announced during NetEase's financial results on Thursday, the company said the hero shooter topped Steam's global top sellers charts in December and saw 10 million registered users in the opening 3 days across all platforms. The game returned to the top of the charts in January following the game's Season 1 update. Okay, it's already in the story. NetEase announced the results days after it laid off several developers, including the game's director. Earlier this week, NetEase's California-based game director Thaddeus Sasser claimed that an unspecified number of Marvel Rivals American developers had been let go, including himself. In a statement to VGC, NetEase said it recently made the difficult decision to adjust Marvel Rivals' development team structure for organizational reasons and to optimize development efficiency for the game. So, a couple things here, because I feel like, everybody reacted to it. Them losing their jobs is awful. They were not the core team on the game.
I get it. I get
right?
what they weren't.
They weren't the core team on the game, and it sounds like NetEase has already been doing this because they're getting out of America. They're they are basically taking all
Can't
of
blame
their,
them there.
and again, they're taking all, and it's not a Marvel Rival specific thing. All of their kind of auxiliary studios that they had been in partnership with or had created outside of China, it seems like they're kind of refocusing everything back there. So this is awful. These people losing their jobs after making an incredibly successful game sucks entirely. But I don't think it's not like directly related to Marvel Rivals being a thing as much as it is them being like, we're out, dude. Like we're out of America. We're out of a lot of these kind of third party areas. Like we're focusing in on China, where the main development team was either. And apparently, like the I think I saw a report that was like the California based NetEase group was only like 6 people. So yes, it sucks. It's awful, of course, to every one of those people who.
Yeah, but you don't announce billions of dollars in revenue and then you're like, by the way.
No, of course not.
So here's what I'll say. One, I don't play the game. It's fine. Whatever.
Mm.
I was very curious to see the non-outrage because there wasn't any. There was the, "Oh, it's terrible that they got fired, but we really like this game." I was very curious to see the anytime any publishers fire people when Sony does it or Xbox does it, the cancel this game, cancel, like, we hate, don't play this, don't do that. Like, look at Ubisoft. They drop a game and it gets review bombed. It's different what they did, but what I'm saying is I was very curious to see the amount of people that were like, "Oh, but did you, like, see the new skin they're dropping, a new character they're dropping?" Like, people were like, "I know this happened, but Doctor Strange?" Like,
See, it's
what
interesting
the
because
F, man?
I
It was
I
very weird.
I did see a lot of people pissed.
I
I
did,
I
but I didn't at the same time. Those
I
same people, I made comments to them because Bluesky is my video games
mm,
socials, and Twitter is my hockey socials. That's how I
mm,
decided to split the 2. And I made a comment to a friend of ours, and I replied to him on Bluesky, and I was just like, "Wow, so interesting. You in a span of less than an hour, you went from they're terrible to wow, look at this new skin."
mm,
And I was like, and he was like, "Yeah, but the game's amazing." I was like, "Okay,
mhm. Yeah, I mean, the game's fantastic. The thing is, it's like all of
hold
this
on.
here is
What they did was
unrelated, though.
terrible."
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's the game being good is unrelated to the fact that they did this, right? Like that's awful.
Doesn't
And
seem that way to people.
the timing of it is like really shrewd corporate bullshit because like you're right, they did it at a time where they're announcing new characters. They're doing it at a time where like they literally could suck all the
They
noise out
did
of
it
one thing.
purposely.
100%. No, exactly. That's what I mean. Like it was not an accident. On top of the fact that like there was no announcement from NetEase. Like the director made an announcement on like LinkedIn that he had
And I
been
know
laid
the
off.
character I'm saying is not the right one, but I'm just like, I know there was a new character and
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah,
losing their freaking mind over it.
yeah. Yeah, Human Torch and the Thing are back.
That's it.
Um,
That was it.
yeah,
Human
so the
Torch.
rest of the Fantastic Four. But yeah, no, it's awful. It sucks entirely. And it's just like they did it because they knew that people would focus on the big shiny thing and not the shadow underneath, you know?
But I just find it very interesting that people have no issue when they're like, I feel like getting mad at this one thing, but when it's my shiny thing, I can't get mad at it. I'm gonna figure out a way to be like, well, it's okay.
People are
Especially when
people,
it's
dude.
layoffs. I
Yeah.
I find layoffs to be besides sexual assault stuff, that's terrible. You know,
Yeah,
the Ubisoft and
of course.
yeah, I this is just gonna may sound terrible, but like the people who say, "Oh, I have an unsafe work environment because my boss is getting mad at me." I honestly think people are a little peanut butter soft on that one. But when you're firing people, that's bad.
Yeah, it's just it's stupid, right? Like people gravitate to their thing and they find reasons to defend it. Like fandom is a toxic thing in and of itself when you really boil it
Dude,
down to the
I'm a
way that
sports
it comes.
fan. Totally get it. Mind you,
100%.
I trashed the living daylights out of my hockey team, except the one that beat the Americans on Thursday night. And it was the greatest day in hockey. And it was like, Jesus Murphy. Like the world stood still. It had 10.8 million viewers in Canada watching a hockey game.
Bang.
30% of the country was watching the hockey game on Thursday night.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I heard it was a great game.
I
I was
know. I
watching.
texted you and you were like,
Yeah,
oh, the hockey game happened. I'm like, oh,
yeah, I was watching Severance.
I got one episode left.
Yeah, that's the episode I was watching. Um, yeah, no, it sucks ass, and like hopefully these devs land on their feet or are able to get something. It's almost this thing where it's just like we've been so like, and I don't mean you and I, but I feel like the industry we talked about layoffs so much that like
Way too much.
I'm almost worried that like it's starting to get commonplace. You know what I mean? Like it's
Good
people are
point.
starting. Yeah, it's almost like, and again, this is an awful, awful, awful analogy to use here, but it's like anything terrible that now happens in the states. It's like people are like, it's the states. You know what I mean? Like it's
We
awful. Thoughts and
suck.
prayers. Thoughts and prayers. It's awful that people lost their lives out of school, but like oh well, it's the states, and it's like I hope where that level of apathy isn't starting to reach the industry in a way that like people are now kind of like it's more layoffs. You know what I mean?
You know what? I get where you're coming, and I don't think
You
it's
know
a
what I
bad
mean?
analogy. I understand they're 2 different like, way different things, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I think what you're trying to run home to is how we're becoming blasé about it, and we're just like, "Oh, well."
Mhm.
We move on because I think you're right. it's almost every week some media outlet is firing everybody and
Mhm.
shuttering,
Mhm.
and then the next week a game developer is shuttering, and then the next week record profits from
Yeah.
the same people
Yep.
over and over and over again. Whatever media group owned that other one, they were like, "Well, we fired all these people, and because of
Yeah.
that, our shares went up, and now we have record profits."
And now we have a new site that's entirely AI driven,
Uh-huh,
and
100%.
all of this is scraped by. But it's by
Hey,
the way,
can I
you
ask you something? Have you been I know because I know you read IGN.
hmm,
You got once you said the AI thing. Some of their articles lately have been weird.
I haven't really been on IGN for a minute.
Some of them are weird, dude.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you, they read weird.
I mean, Ziff Davis is not a
They
great
read
place.
weird. That's
Yeah.
all I'm gonna say. I was reading something about Assassin's Creed the other day, and I was like, "Huh." I was like, "I feel like I heard a YouTuber say this." And then I'm like, "So, AI could have pulled those words from the YouTuber and with another something else and put it like
Yeah.
it felt like another YouTuber's voice." I was like, "This is interesting." I know they do it in sports. Like when I read hockey articles sometimes, I'm like, "Yeesh,
You chat GPT that
yikes."
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a yikes sometimes. I'm like, "You got lazy, boy."
You got lazy boy. Yeah, I don't know. I hearts go out to those devs. Hope they land on their feet. I've kind of it has left a sour taste in the mouth in my mouth for the game, and I did love the game. I haven't played it much lately, regardless, because I've been focused on so many other things. But like, it makes me less likely
Like
to
being a
go back
dad.
to it. Being a dad, and also just a lot of other reviews. I've been going from one thing to the next for like a month and a half now. So for me, it's like
Me
I
playing Control.
yeah, for me, it's like I have always planned to go back to Marvel Rivals, and now this just makes me not want to go back. And that's again like an Overwatch style Marvel game is exactly my shit. But it's just kind of like I don't really
Do
know
you
if I
think
want to
it
go back
has
and
the
invest it.
legs to be longevity?
Yep. Here's what I'm gonna say. If the MCU over the course of the next few movies with Fantastic Four, I'm not counting Thunderbolts, with Fantastic Four, with Avengers
Thunderbolts is gonna be
Doomsday.
bad, and because Captain America is supposed to be
Ah,
really bad.
I watched Cap. I really liked it. I'm very excited for Thunderbolts. I think the trailers look great.
Really?
Legit. I think it looks like a lot of fun. I
Okay.
think it looks I like
I'll
that
watch
Cap.
Cap on Disney Plus when it comes out.
Yeah, Cap was it was like Winter Soldier light. It is a lot of fun. Mackey's great. Ford is great. The actions are great. It's a fun turn off your brain action movie.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. It's like imagine if the MCU did Top Gun. Not as good as Top Gun.
I
I'm not
think
saying it's
the
anywhere near
issue
as good as
is
Top Gun, but
they when they started doing TV, people now have the attitude watching an MCU movie that you can that could be on TV.
the thing is they went too hard too fast.
Yep.
But here's what I'm going to say. They've recognized that. They're pulling it back. Just because synergy is a thing, right? It's at the top of people's minds. If Fantastic Four is good, if Doomsday is good, if over the course of the next year, because Avengers is already a year away, then this game will just continue to skyrocket. Especially if Doomsday is good, then Secret Wars is good. All of the next projects, like this is going like that IP namesake is just going to continue to drive this game further. If they're able to continue to capitalize on characters at a steady pace, if they're able to capitalize on skins as they clearly already have to the tune of
So is
billions of
Doctor
dollars.
Doom gonna be a variant of Iron Man? Because otherwise, every reviewer is gonna be like, "It's so weird."
Yeah, he has to be.
Yeah, okay.
Probably
Right.
from the same universe that the Fantastic Four is from, because they're
Okay.
not from our
Perfect. Thank you.
they're
I
not from
just wanted to
MCU.
make sure because
Yeah,
otherwise it was really bothering me, and I
yeah,
haven't watched New Rockstar in a while, and I just figured you might have had something in
yeah.
your brain. Sorry.
Fantastic Four is in a parallel universe. That's probably where that's
That
that
Doom comes from.
that
Okay.
Doom comes from. Um, so yeah, I think it could easily have huge legs if they continue to keep the cadence that they've had so far. In season one, they're dropping 4 characters. Like that's a lot for a new season of any game. So we'll
Fair.
see. Let's hop into some questions. As Black Wyver writes in saying, I'm getting my question in early. Yes, you did, my friend. A couple episodes ago, you guys discussed DC characters are potentially too overpowered and make it harder for them to be adapted into a video game. How about a Justice League game like a Justice League game like Metroidvania? I'm thinking Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, but DC. Thoughts? I'd love that format for a TMNT game too.
TMNT game, perfect. Like, mind you, there is a TMNT game that I reviewed that is a dungeon crawler.
The
It just didn't
yeah.
it didn't work. It's just top down TMNT just doesn't work. I think if it's side scrolling, it can work.
Mm.
It might be able to work. I get what you're saying because you're gaining more power as you go along. If you're,
Mhm.
I,
Here's what I'm gonna
say this till blue in the face. A Superman game is so hard.
I don't think it would work for Superman. I don't think a Justice League Metroidvania would work because
Superman's got to be there, and it doesn't work.
not even that. Justice League means inherently you have at least 4 or 5 playable characters with different with different move kits. And Metroidvania is literally built around you having a singular character and upgrading them in different
Point.
ways
You could do a
as you
Metroidvania
move.
Batman game.
You could do a Metroidvania Wonder Woman game.
Nope. Once
That would
again, I'm gonna for the
it would
500th
work.
time. She is Superman, but female.
It would work. It
It
would work.
really wouldn't.
Superman, I think you could do like a Superboy Metroidvania. I
He's
feel
still
like
super. He's still
he
Superman.
is,
He's
but
just a
again,
boy.
but a Metroidvania, all you're doing is you're stripping the character back and letting them regrow as you go through it. So you could do it, but I think you would need
But
a
how
singular
many times
character.
can you just hit him with kryptonite and start him from nothing?
I mean, as many times as has happened in the comics over the last like 50 years.
Yeah, and it's not working.
Again. Um, you know what I would? You know what I do want though? What this question made me think about? I want a Marvel Ultimate Alliance with DC. I think that then you just get around all of
So
the
hot,
powers.
dude. 1000%.
Yep. Then you get around all of the overpowered. It doesn't matter how strong Superman is. It doesn't matter how strong Wonder Woman is. The Ultimate Alliance literally handles that. Thor is beside Spider-Man, is beside Daredevil. It's just
100%.
having fun playing these games.
You could do a Hawkeye. Not a Hawkeye is Marvel. Green
Green
Arrow.
Arrow.
You could do a Green Arrow game perfectly.
You could easily.
Very good. And you know what? It would probably, man, we need a Hawkeye game and a Daredevil game now. Like those are the games Marvel should be making. A
We need
Hawkeye
a
and Daredevil game.
we need a Batman Arkham Asylum, but Daredevil. That's what we need.
Yes,
That's
agreed.
what we need.
I think it would be
But yeah,
very good.
I want a DC Ultimate Alliance. I think that would work easily. You could play with friends. You could play by yourself. You could
You're
have
not
all of
wrong.
these characters beside each
Now,
other
are
without worrying
we
about power
top down
scaling.
or are we side scrolling?
They were top down, like Ultimate Alliance. You're top down.
It's tough because of the flying characters.
But Ultimate Alliance does it. They're literally just in the air.
Okay, yeah, fair. Okay.
Yeah, they're literally just flying in the air. They have a skybox, so you can't go higher than a certain amount. I think you could do that easily with DC characters, so without worrying about their power sets.
I would
Because
almost do it and have Superman be like something you unlock after you finished it.
you could.
And then
You
it's
could.
like, here's your I can't die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like have fun with it. You can't die. Play it again.
Yeah.
Your game plus use Superman.
Yeah, I think you could easily do that. I think Metroidvania, you could do it with some characters. I don't think it would work with Justice League just because then you're introducing multiple characters. And I can't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I can't think of a Metroidvania that has multiple characters, multiple playable characters with like different move sets and different powers. Right? Every Metroidvania that I can think of is a singular character.
Yep, you're right. You're right. No,
right?
you're right.
So I'd be curious to see how
Or
that would
it's
work.
two characters, but they're not together ever.
Right? I mean, like like Ori is technically a Metroidvania, but like again, you're the singular character, right? Like
No, you're right.
So I think it's a cool idea. I would just be curious to see how it would be implemented. I think it's much easier if they just focus on Nightwing, even. You know what I mean? Like there's so many characters that you could pull from.
Nightwing would be really good, but he's not big enough that it would matter.
No, I don't.
So that's the thing about DC. I love DC. DC has some huge characters, but their ancillary characters are not big. But Marvel has everything.
Yeah.
They have big characters, ancillary characters. Unfortunately, their writing is terrible. DC has better writing, and Marvel, it just is what it is, man.
Yep. Jane and Rose writes in saying, "Hi guys, I hope you've been safe and well. You too, my friend. Have you had the chance to play Lost Records Bloom and Rage yet? If so, what are your thoughts? It piqued my interest and I have it sitting in my queue." He has a second question that I'll kind of leave off for the side.
I downloaded it for Tape 1, I think it's called, because it's 90s, and I'm really curious if it hits the nostalgia bone, but I started Control first.
I'm going to play it. I think I'm just going to wait for it for Tape 2. I have a bad thing where if something's split into parts, I will forget everything that happens in the first part.
I'm with you.
So and with the second part coming in April, like it's not a long wait. I'll just wait and hit both of them at the same time and just play through it all at once.
I'm with you because I know with some of the
Walking Dead,
the Walking Dead games, it annoyed me.
Yep.
It really annoyed me. Even the Batman, there was a Batman one. And I was just like, you gotta be kidding me, guys.
Yeah, I feel like there's just so much noise that like I'm going to forget what's happening because I think the game looks great. I like the premise, I like the art style, I like everything that it's doing.
I heard it's really good.
Yeah, I like everything that it's doing. I just want to be able to have
and it's
full
PlayStation
experience.
Plus people.
And both of them. both episodes are going to be on PlayStation Plus. So we will get to it. Just for me, it'll be in April once both
Matt,
episodes
4 months ago, PlayStation needs to put indie games back on PlayStation Plus. 4 months later,
We're
PlayStation
getting
puts
them.
indie games back on PlayStation
Give me
Plus.
him. Give me him. And Jaden's second question: which PlayStation character would you love to cosplay as? Court. Court. Hold on.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion. For a cosplay for you and I to do together, where you're Kratos and I'm Atreus.
Nope.
Think about it.
Matt,
Think about
you've
it.
gone to Fan Expo with me 2 years in a row, and you've heard my daughter ask me, and I love her. You were physically there when. What did she say to me? We should dress up next year. What was my answer? Quickly, without even hesitation.
Yes, baby, no problem.
It was a no. I've told you about this. I don't know what it is. I grew up. My birthday is right around Halloween. It drives me insane. I hate dressing up. The best I can do, is I could do Sully or Nathan Drake because I'm not really dressing up.
I was about to say, you could be Nathan Drake, I'll be Elena, and then Emma can be the daughter. Right? In terms of like a character I'd actually love to cosplay as, a PlayStation character.
You've dressed as Spider-Man before.
I was gonna say I'm gonna leave Spider-Man off the table just because I've done it before, and it's Marvel, not like I'm thinking like Sony first party.
That is a Sony first party.
I know.
In every way, shape, or form.
Real deal, Jay O'Neill. You'd be a great Nathan Drake with the hero hair. You go when you style it. See,
he's right.
You can do it. You know who I'd cosplay as? Delson. Just because I feel like I could probably put that together from my closet.
I've seen old photos. You could do it.
I could 100% do it.
Yeah, you could do
it.
I could
100%
you have to shave that beard though.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to the barber tomorrow. Hold on.
Not as scraggly. It's like grown into the scrag.
I know. Sometimes if you just leave it alone long enough, it just fills itself in. Another one that we could do? We could do Ratchet and Clank. I'll be Ratchet. You can be Clank. I'll just carry around like a backpack all day.
Yeah, we both know you couldn't do that. It would hurt you.
I could try.
No, I don't think you can.
I would try. I would also, unironically, I'd love to do Astrobot, but like have like a full suit. You know what I mean? Like this is like out in the realm where I have way too much money to blow and time, but like walking around as like an Astrobot would be a lot of fun. I think.
Just get the blow up suit like they do with the dinosaurs.
That'd be really funny. I would buy an Astrobot blow up suit.
Yeah,
so
that's
quick.
what I'm saying.
And then you'd get annoyed because every podcast I'd be sitting here in that fucking thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Every podcast I'd be sitting here just like Astrobot. But that brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for your questions, folks. We appreciate them as always. Court, where can people see and hear more from you when they want to find you?
You can find me every Wednesday at 8 p.m. at 3 Dads in a Console, or you can find me coming up. I'm going to be doing, I think, 1 for sure, maybe 2 reviews coming up for March at Console Creatures, and I'll be talking about those games on here. Like I promised Matt one thing about MLB The Show this year. I will only talk about it when I play it. Once I stop playing, and it doesn't exist.
Prepare to hear about it for the next 6 months.
No.
You can find me.
AC
here.
Shadows comes out the week later.
I know. And still, you're going to be like, listen, I just hopped in to like get these packs in Diamond Dynasty, and then I ran around the batting cages, and
Matt,
I got my packs.
Diamond Dynasty, and you knew what you were talking about. Look at you.
And I got my packs, and like Rudy Goldberg is on this pack, so like I have to get this pack, and like you know what I mean. Like
you just made something up, and I know you know ball players' names, so that's whatever.
I genuinely could not think of a single one.
Really?
Wayne Gretzky. So you can find me obviously here at Console Creatures. You can find my words over at butwhytho.net as well. I have a lot of stuff hitting tomorrow on the site, more coming in the future, so please stay tuned. Please be excited. There's so much good gaming on the way, so prepare thyselves for a deluge of content to talk about. We'll see you next week, folks. Be well, be safe, take care of one another. We love you all. Peace.